Hi traders, and welcome to the Technical Analysis Market Watch on Friday the 26th of July. So I've seen some crazy action this week. The volatility has certainly increased and we're seeing some really big moves in some of the currencies and indices. So we'll jump straight into the charts and see if we can identify any trades for today or early into next week. All right, so I'll start out here with the Aussie USD as we always do. And you can see that we've seen a massive sell-off continue from what we saw last week. It was trying to find a little bit of support. You would have thought at that resistance line there at the 66.80. You can see that all that resistance through there should have given it support, but it actually paid no heed to it and went straight through. That was basically late last week, the start of this week, just continued on the sell-off. A 20-50 moving average is all but about to happen, and it's broken through every line of support that you would have expected. If it was going to stop, it would have consolidated around those areas. So you can see just went bang straight through this area here. Again, straight through this area here at that 65.80. And when we're in a free fall like that, really, the next, the obvious level is 65 cents, and you can see that's the next heavy level of support, what will be support if it gets there. It got very close. It got to within 15 pips of it, even in that last session. So really, I don't really like it when something free falls like that, because it makes the technical analysis harder to read, because really what can often happen is the rebound can be quite aggressive, and if you do try and join in the trend prematurely, you can be taken out very quickly on the rebound. So in my mind, if you're not already in this short, and you should have been, because there's been plenty of opportunities. If you had have gone to the smaller time frames, you would have seen a absolute monumental amount of opportunities all the way down, all the things that we talk about every single week. Lower high, lower lows. This is a 15-minute chart, right? So you could have been able to trade basically any time frame you would have liked. All pullbacks to the 20 moving average, lower high, lower lows, all the way down. Okay, so as much as it looks very aggressive on a daily chart, you can see that the 15-minute chart gave you about 20 entries over the last week. So really, it's a very easy way to apply the technical analysis to it, even though it looks like it's in free fall. But the problems we've got now, of course, are that it's very close to its target. Okay, so you got to be very mindful that even if you do take the next little mini pullback and look for the continued short, just be mindful that support is not very far away. If it does pull back, the levels that we'd be looking for are the ones that it actually broke through, which are that 65.80 and also the 66.20. Okay, so they're the two levels that I'd be really mindful of if it does start to reverse and get back up there again, but really heavy selling on the Aussie USD. We'll go to the CAD. That hit our target basically this week. It continued on its merry way, hit the target that we were looking for, which is perfect. And realistically, that was a very strong move. Look, it looked powerful out of this move, like I said, over the last few weeks. And now that it actually did break through that level as it did this week, it just continued on. Same deal on this one, though. Very easy trading, even though it looks like it's hard. Look at the 15-minute chart, and all you see is entries everywhere. Higher high, higher low sequences all over the place. You already know, you don't have to be blind Freddy to know that you're in a very strong uptrend. Okay, same with the Aussie. You knew you were in a downtrend. All you've got to do is join in that trend and look for the pullback of the 20 moving average. And again, 100 different entries to get to the target that we set for it last week. So that was really good trading. I know quite a few of you got good moves on that CAD as well, so that was fantastic. Now what we're looking for is a potential reversal. Look, I wouldn't be trading this any longer unless it actually broke above that 138.80. If we get a daily close above there, I'd probably revisit it. But until then, I'd probably be looking for shorting opportunities back down to around that 137.50 area where these highs are. So potential reversals at this point, but a daily close above there, and we'd be looking at for a fresh lens. US dollar yen also hit our target only just, but it got there, the 152. It just basically hit there in that last session. You can see that very heavy resistance. Quite often what you are going to see is a very aggressive bounce when it does hit a key level. I spoke of this last week and right through this week, actually, how important this 152 was because of the resistance that was here. Very heavy resistance for many days. Came down, touched it, and then, of course, off it went. I'd be looking for a potential move back up to the 154.80 as the level to potentially reverse. 20 and 50 crossed now. You can see that. They haven't actually crossed since 145, which is all the way down here, as you can see. Okay, so really, really important to know that that's a very important cross. But now, like I said, it might find a little bit more strength back up to that 154.80. I'd be looking for a reversal around there. That would be the trade for me. And then a potential continued short back down to the 152. Now that it's done it, it would be easier to actually get down there because it's already got a predetermined level. So really, really good trading. I know we've all traded this yen together, and I know quite a few of you got it too, so that's fantastic. Great to see technical analysis at its best, and these last few currencies have been really, really good. The targets have been perfect, and the moves have been really good, and I'm glad to see a lot of people have got them. Dollar index is kind of in the middle of nowhere in the sense that it's trying to rally. It probably, with the magnitude of the moves that we've seen on some of the currency pairs, I would have expected a bit more strength from this actually. Last week we were hovering around here. We're only just above it. We're only about 20 points above it. So not really a lot to report on the dollar index. But the fact of the matter is that it is above that 104 again. It's above the all-important 104. And whilst it's doing that, you know that there's going to be probably continued strength and weakness in the euro, and potentially I'd be looking at probably the 20 moving average, the 104.60 as your target. If we get up there, that would be part of the place where I'd be looking for a little bit of resistance. But of course, if it gets a real crack on like some of the currencies have and the dollar strength really increases, probably 105 would be the main target for this one now. So good that it's held up above the 104, enough strength to give us confidence that maybe this level is the worst it's going to be for a little while. Over to the euro, of course, and look, it pulled back. You know, it hit the level last week that we anticipated. It's come back down. It's on a 20 moving average, however. So, yes, there is support here. There's no question about that. You can see the support right through these levels here. A lot of price interaction at this level. A lot of wick action right at the level that it is now, and a 20 moving average catchment. Okay, so really, it's going to do one or two things very quickly. That might sound obvious, but it's either going to rebound from this level and test the 108.80, which is only a scalp from where it is now. It's only 20 or 30 pips, so just be mindful of that. Or it's going to break through the 20 moving average, and at that point, I think it's going to be testing the 108. So probably right. It's right in the middle of the zone where I'd only be scalping. You've got the high or you got the low. I'd be setting those two boundaries as my scalping opportunity. And until the dollar index breaks through, I'd be just scalping whichever direction the momentum is carrying it. So lower high, lower lows, aim for the 108, and higher high, higher lows from this support, and aim for the 108.80 to 109 level on the euro. And the indices, the S&P 500 got absolutely smashed this week. Look, really, really solid, sell-off from that. Basically, it's an evening star pattern. A very rough one, but it's a pretty solid one in the sense that it's at the 20 moving average. Failed to make a higher high, but it weakened off this shooting star really, really heavily. And look, it only towards the end started trading really low. Yeah, halfway through the session, it was actually positive. It was actually quite positive and nearly at the 54.50. But now it's broken through and it's looking very, very weak. There's still a lot of earnings. We are in the middle of earnings season, don't forget. So we've got to keep that in mind as we look for trades in this indice. But really, yeah, to me, the main target now is the 53.30. If we see continued sell-off in the US session throughout the next session, I'd be looking for a move down to the 53.30 as the main point of stopping. And at that point, we'd look for some consolidation. If it reverses from here, I'd be looking for a bit of a turnaround about the 54.50 where it should have actually stopped. It didn't. So if it does get a little bit of momentum up and gets trading around that 54.50, I'd be looking for a bit of a roll reversal at that point there, and then maybe start looking at the shorting opportunities again. But this has fallen very, very aggressively now. So really, I'd only be following the momentum. Wherever the momentum is carrying it is where I would be trading in the direction of on the S&P 500, but very important to remember that it is in the middle of earnings season, and this can change very, very quickly on a couple of good results, but indeed it can continue on a couple of very bad results as well. So one to be very, very careful of, because the volatility is extraordinarily high at the moment. So I hope you've had a great week's trading. We've seen some amazing moves and yeah, some really, really good levels hit. So hopefully you're able to take advantage of some of those. Trade with caution with all this volatility, of course, but keep in mind that earnings is around basically every day there is earnings, and a lot of the big companies are reporting next week. So just keep that in mind when you are placing your medium to longer term trades. Have a great weekend, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all next week.